Welcome into Duval Daily. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here today, Thursday, December 21st. Can the Jaguars end their 3-game losing streak that they're currently on? They're going to have to do it in Tampa against the Buccaneers. The Jaguars, they have been turning the ball over lately. They have been making mental mistakes, pre-snap penalties on offense, dropped footballs. They can't run the ball between the tackles at all. They're dealing with injuries. Trevor Lawrence now in the concussion protocol. Zay Jones with the hamstring. Those guys aren't practicing. Everyone else is practicing, fortunately for them. So they could be getting some key pieces back. It sounds like Trevor Lawrence has a chance to play. Doug Peterson said yesterday he's progressing well, but Trevor Lawrence will likely need to get on the practice field either Thursday or Friday to be able to play in this game and advance through the concussion protocol. If no Trevor Lawrence, CJ Beathard, he will start this game, and he'll only have one of his top 3 wide receivers out there in Calvin Ridley. Zay Jones not going to be available likely. And obviously, Christian Kirk is on IR right now. How do you get out of this rut if you're the Jaguars? You have to get out of your own way for one. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Cut the crap, cut the pre-snap penalties on offense, the unforced turnovers, right? The dropped footballs. It's been abysmal lately for the most part. You've seen the Jaguars defense have some bad games lately. I think that they showed last week that they can get back on track against a really good Ravens team. But the game plan defensively by Mike Caldwell and the players on defense, they have to respect their opponent. I do not think that they respected Jake Browning or Joe Flacco, and I think it cost them. I think that they showed a lot of respect, to Lamar Jackson. And they went out and they played a cohesive, coherent, good brand of defensive football. It wasn't perfect. It's not going to be perfect against an MVP caliber quarterback. But I think that they played well enough to win that game last week on the defensive side of the ball. So you have to go out there. You have to respect Baker Mayfield, the Bucs receivers, which they have big-time wide receivers, Rashad White, who can get the job done out of the backfield. They will spread you out. They will also run plenty of play action. The Jaguars have got to be ready for that defensively. I think you have to change the picture on Baker Mayfield post-snap as much as you can. If you give him clean looks, he will eat you up with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and these guys out of the backfield. I really do believe that. I think defensively, these two teams mirror each other quite a bit. Obviously Todd Bowles, the head coach in Tampa, the defensive mastermind in Tampa, Mike Caldwell, was his right-hand man for a long time. He comes over to Jacksonville to become the defensive coordinator last year. So you see a lot of similar concepts from these guys. I think you're going to be best suited offensively for the Jaguars in a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, not only because you don't have Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, but because you're probably getting Brenton Strange back this week. I think he helps you out a ton when you're talking about those big jumbo personnel packages. I think you have to hit the outside runs. You have to stop trying to force the ball up the gut. It's not working. Hit some outside zone looks, right? Hit some toss crack. Get Travis Etienne in space. You have to do a lot of play action, bunch formations, pre-snap motion, all the stuff that normally works for the Jaguars. That's what you've got to do in this game. I think you can do those things effectively against this Buccaneers defense that is struggling a little bit at the linebacker level. Devin White not having a very good year. Their edge players are not as good as their interior players. I think you got to get outside. If you try to jam the ball up the gut, it will not work. If you try these static looks from 11 personnel, it will not work. Get outside, get plenty of pre-snap movement, misdirection, play fakes, give yourself a chance offensively, and that's whether Trevor Lawrence plays or CJ Beathard plays, right? I think you got to get the wide receiver screens out of the game plan. Screens to tight ends and running backs, sure. Those can work, but the Jaguars lead the league in wide receiver screens, and they're like one of the least efficient teams at doing it. It's been pathetic to watch. It's been frustrating to watch. I don't know why the Jaguars continuously slam their head against the wall with the wide receiver screens. Look, the Bucs are a very average team, but they have won 3 straight games. They did have a very impressive win against the Packers last week. The 2 wins before that, not as impressive, right? You're beating the Falcons and you're beating the Carolina Panthers. But the Jaguars have been below average lately. 3 straight losses. They've been beating themselves. But I think even with CJ Beathard in the lineup, whether it's him or Trevor Lawrence, you can win this game against the Buccaneers. You force turnovers defensively by changing the picture post-snap. You execute the offensive game plan that actually makes some sense. Again, cut out the wide receiver screens. You don't need to be doing that all game. Cut out the inside runs. You don't need to be doing that. It will not work. Cut out the pre-snap penalties. you can win this football game. If not, you're going to be 8-7. You're going to be perhaps in third place in the AFC South. If the Colts beat the Falcons, the Texans are likely without CJ Stroud this week against the Browns. That's going to be a tough one. But look, you got to win this football game. This is the first real must-win game that the Jaguars have had in a very long time. They've got to go get the job done, and they might have to do it without Trevor Lawrence. We'll see how it plays out. We will be continuing to preview this game, matchups to watch, bold predictions, all that the rest of the week. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. We've got our holiday sale going on right now. Happy holidays at checkout to save 30% at genjag.com/shop. Y'all have a good one.